every single day we have to look at it a little bit different. The 6th decade looks much different than the 20th decade, if you will.
Experiential knowledge, if applied correctly, becomes wisdom. And wisdom allows us to put those experiences and knowledge in a different box and make better decisions. So hopefully it happens in life as we get older. We get a little more wise and wise to our ways of old and more wise to the decisions we make today.
I can absolutely feel fabulous, have great energy, have good lean muscle mass, have great body composition, and show up and shine. It's just gonna look a little different. Hi, I'm Dr. Michele Neil-Sherwood.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Sherwood.
And you're entering a world gone good.
A world gone good.
Well, hello, my name's Steve, and this is the place where we shine the light on everyday people making good happen each and every day. Welcome to World Gone Good. Hey, do you need a good gift suggestion for your friends and fam this holiday season? Well, get this, Season Slayings is my third cozy mystery in my series of The Dog Walking Detectives, and it is out now and ready for your purchase on both Barnes & Noble and Amazon websites. Season Slayings features a holiday-themed murder, and don't act like you haven't wanted to kill someone yourself right around this time of year anyway. Yeah, you have. We all have. Own it. Instead of going to jail, get yourself a good book or two. Visit Barnes & Noble or Amazon and look for Season Slayings. This here author friend of yours appreciates the support and gives you a big thank you in advance. Today, the doctors, plural, are in, which means we are getting a double house call. Dr. Mark Sherwood is a naturopathic doctor. God, I hope I said that right. And Dr. Michele Neil-Sherwood is a doctor of osteopathy. I hope I said that right, too. I just can barely say my name. I'm doing my best, people. I didn't go to medical school. They're husband and wife, best-selling health and wellness authors, motivational speakers, film producers, podcasters, product formulators. Translation, they have their own high-performance nutritional food line, which includes coffee, yum, and in their spare time, when they're not sleeping, they run the Functional Medical Institute in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So if nothing else, based on everything I just listed, know this, we are in good hands. Doctors Mark and Michele share a bold vision to eradicate self-imposed lifestyle-driven diseases and to reduce and eliminate dependency on unnecessary medications. They are all about addressing the root cause, not just the symptoms, when helping their patients. And they're doing this through their holistic, proactive approach. Speaking of proactive approaches, they approached us, to come on our show. And I love that. I love when anybody reaches out and says, hey, can I come on the show? I got something good to share. Here come Doctors Mark and Michele to share their own good journeys and their journey together. Today with us, we have a married couple who have so much behind them, and I'd like to start with a true or false game that y'all can play any way you like. I'll warn you right now, all the answers I believe are true. I did some checking on the internet, so spoiler alert, they're all true. True or false, Michele, you are located in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That is true.
True or false, Mark, you're a former professional baseball player?
True.
True or false, Michele, you attended some of those baseball games?
That is false.
Oh, we got a false. I love it. True or false, Mark, you are also a former 24-year veteran SWAT team member?
That is true.
True or false, Michele, you attended some of the swaps that he went on?
That is false.
See, okay, there are a couple of falses in here. Okay, so let's start here. How did you two meet?
So I was actually just retired from the police department and had taken a job to educate physicians on the implementation of supplementation into their practices. And Michele happened to have a clinic, and we met, and truly it was love at first sight. But I'll back up a bit, because she'd opened the clinic brand new, and she was teaching a class on functional movement. And I thought, hey, how cool is that? So I came, but I had a date with me, which is obviously not very good for Michele's purposes. But she did have made a great impression on me. And it was just like, you meet people, Steve, that are like really special, unique people. And whether you're going to date them, marry them, love them, whatever, you're just like, wow, that's a cool person. So she made an impact on me. And then in my sales job, I came back in there and actually made a sales call in the office a few months later. And that time, I did not have a date with me and was completely single at that point. So at the end of the meeting, I shook her hand and said, "Thank you, Dr. Neil, for your time." And Steve, I truly could not let go of her hand, and I haven't let go ever since.
Okay, this is wonderful. Now I have that first date with me here as well. Jen? No, I'm just kidding. Let's go. Michele, how accurate, any side to this you want to add?
Well, no, that is very accurate. When someone walks in with another person, my eyes actually go the other direction, because I'm not going to get in the way of a relationship that somebody has going. But he did catch my eye. I thought he was hot. I thought it was like, oh, wow. And then I had to focus on the class.
So there was a little lightning going on here.
Absolutely.
Was it the first time you guys, we're getting really personal here. Was it the first time you guys had experienced that kind of feeling for another person, or other than like one of your dogs? Because all my dogs, I was like, you are the one.
Well, I think, anytime you have that first love when you're like in kindergarten, or, that first person that you experience what you think to be true love, you have those butterflies. Now, point being made, I met Mark when I was 48 years old. And so it's
years young.
Sure.
Yes, but it was definitely different. I've got two siblings that say, oh, you're going to know the person that you're going to marry when you meet him. And I was 48 by that time. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I would have to say that particular feeling is real.
No, I love that, because a lot of people listening get that, what you're talking about right now. And also, like I've said this before on the show, what we want in our 20s is different than what we want in our 30s, is different than what we want in our 40s, and also what we're willing to put up with. And
yeah,
that
true.
It changes. Also, like, when we're 20s, it's like, oh, there's another pizza delivery coming. There's another movie to go see. There's another more, you know what I mean? There's so much out there. And then the pool starts drying up and you're like, well, maybe I should have.
Yeah. Right.
Waited just a little bit, or yeah.
Now, what do you think draws you two together today?
Man, I think it's just, we truly love each other, first of all. And it's not just some kind of make-believe thing. We truly do. Neither of us can imagine life without the other. And we can't imagine a life when we didn't have each other that we didn't have each other. So it's really about, I would say, the present. And then we absolutely share a commonality. We complete each other, but there's a common factor between both of us. We're called and gifted to help people.
And you're doing that on a daily basis in multiple ways. But a big way of this is you guys together. Is it called Functional Medical Institute? Is that where you guys are working right now?
Yes, that's correct. Tulsa, Oklahoma. We lead people down a pathway of true healing, helping them reestablish getting well from all different avenues, physically, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, and sometimes financially, so that they can live well and long in all of their days and have longevity in their years, not just years in their life.
A question I ask a lot of my guests, and I'd love to hear both your perspectives because everyone has a different perspective, right? Why are we all so stressed right now?
My opinion is we're so connected that we don't know how to become disconnected. We have so much stimulus, Steve, right now through media. It's just constant barrage of things stimulating our mind, nervous system, grabbing attention. And I think, it's for myself, and I've seen this, we get we forget how to even communicate anymore and how to even enjoy the slow pace and even how to enjoy grass on your feet and wind in your face.
Yeah, no, I would second that. We live way too fast. Even when we sit down to a computer and the computer isn't responding quick enough, we're already mad at it. We're already upset. We're already stressed. We're already like, I should have this project done and be on to the next thing. And it robs us from being in true relationship and being present to one another. For example, Mark and I, one of the things we do to keep our relationship alive is every Friday night we have a date night, regardless. This last Friday night, we were sitting at a table at a very nice restaurant and noticing around us all of the couples that were together were on their cell phones.
Yes. Yes.
They weren't talking to each other. They were like talking to whatever it was, or, they were distracted and on a device.
We have a no cell phone rule when eating, even at home. And we do not have a TV in the bedroom. We've never had a TV in the bedroom. In fact, the place we just moved into, because we moved to London recently, there's a television in here. It's never been turned on. It's we're renting right now, right? But we we hang clothes on it to dry. So that's the purpose of our TV.
That's good. I like it. I like it.
Hey, maybe you should sell that and get just a little clothesline in there. And
I know.
Get rid of those EMFs.
There's a whole other topic, my friends. We don't have dryers here in London or in the UK. Europe does not have dryers. We have these washer dryer units, and it sort of steams your clothes. So yeah, it's a whole it's a whole other world. Let's talk about longevity, because you two are extremely healthy people. I have seen pictures of you. You look fantastic. Do you feel fantastic?
Yeah, I think, for the most part, yes. I mean, it's like we were talking about this recently, Sometimes as time, years, decades go by, you get aches and pains and stiffness here and there. But then again, you go out and about, look around, and some people can't even walk that are less aged than you are. Many people are carrying around excess pounds. And they're not even walking around. They're barely getting around and barely functioning. And then it sort of brings it back into perspective at that point. And then the last part of that answer is, you look at mortality, and some of our people that we know our age, have died. And neither of us really are distracted by the four biggest distractions I find in planet Earth, which is death, disease, sickness, and lack. And so, I'm not thinking about that kind of stuff. And so I would say, yeah, we feel pretty good.
Well, I mean, I think that longevity question is absolutely a different thing for us right now. I mean, we feel absolutely fabulous. However, every single day we have to look at it a little bit different. The sixth decade looks much different than the 20th decade, if you will. We have to think about preserving capital when we go to the gym, when we go, what we eat, what we, consume as far as drink. Is it going to benefit us or not? Is it going to have a long-term effect or not? The body is what's called a patch and repair system. It never forgets that it had an injury. It's got scar tissue. It's got those memories of wounds. And so we have to literally think about, am I doing the right thing by myself by participating in these dopamine-driven sports? Or do I really need to put that 500 pounds on my back? Or do I have to be mindful for what I do today? What is it going to bring me tomorrow?
And do you think there's a certain amount of allowing ourselves to be okay with that, and allowing ourselves to, again, live in this moment and say, okay, well, I can't do what I did when I was 25. I use the example, which I've used a few times on here, which is I used to come home on a Friday night from work, 7:00. I'd order a double pizza, a double cheese, double pepperoni, extra large pizza. It was 8 slices. And yes, I ate all 8 slices. I used to drink, I was 25, 26. I used to drink, I'd say half a bottle of wine. And then I would watch Reba on the WB around 9 p.m.
Yep.
And then at 9:30, I would take a shower, change, and go meet my friends. We'd stay out from, we hit a bar, 10:30. I'd stay out till 2. And I was up the next morning at 7 a.m. with my best friend, Matt. We'd run what's called Runyon Canyon in Los Angeles. This is hike 2 times around, go lift at the gym, and go to brunch.
Mm.
I can't do any of the things I just described. I can watch Reba. I can probably find that for you. But there is that shift in the mindset of I can't do what I used to do, but I can be okay with that.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing. Even when people come into the medical practice, with us, they want to be what they were when they were 29, but the system is different and they have to acknowledge that it's not going to be that, but I can absolutely feel fabulous, have great energy, have good lean muscle mass, have great body composition, and show up and shine. It's just going to look a little different.
And I think it's probably wisdom too, Steve, in the sense that, even the example you're given, I mean, I think we look back on that now and we go, man, that probably wasn't very smart. It probably wasn't very healthy,
No, exactly.
And so really you look back on it and, experiential knowledge, if applied correctly, becomes wisdom. And wisdom allows us to put those experiences and knowledge in a different box and make better decisions. So hopefully it happens in life as we get older. We get a little more wise to our ways of old and more wise to the decisions we make today.
And I'll tell you, I mean, those Runyon Canyon runs and hikes we used to do, I feel it now at 55, and I have my right foot lets me know it every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a swimmer. I've stayed a swimmer since I was a little kid. In fact, I swam today. And that's where I go to. I listen to my body, and I'm like, today, as much as I would like to go lift the weights or run on the treadmill or go take Barry's boot camp here, today is a day that my ankle is telling me I need to go swim. So I need to listen to my body for that
Right.
longevity purpose of what's coming. And I'm not a doctor, but I try to listen to my body as best I can.
That makes you probably as a great doctor to yourself. And we've always said that people need to become their own self-physician first. So that's, to me, that is wisdom right there.
And who lives with you 365 days of the year, but you do. So the sooner we come to grips with the fact that the body is a patch and repair system and we do have to pay attention to it, and the more we pay attention to it, the better long-term effects we'll get because we're less likely to do something that's going to harm or injure it. Like running on a foot that's unstable eventually ends up with a stress fracture.
Now let's shift gears for one quick second. Can I ask what is still a few items on each of your bucket list?
Yeah, I think, well, probably one item that's on the bucket list that we are going to do is we're going to go speak in Dubai in late 2025. And that's really cool. I think we've all kind of wanted to see those big buildings and experience that before. So that's going to happen. I think two more for me, at least, and let my wife answer. I think to become a New York Times bestselling author would be a bucket list goal, and perhaps to see some of our movies that we've made, at least one, get on the big screen and our Netflix or something of that nature.
I would definitely second those. Of course, traveling internationally to some of the other countries. I've never seen Italy. I haven't seen Switzerland. I've got Nordic genes, and I'd just like to see where my heritage comes from, what that stock looks like, because I know what stock I've got. I'd just like to go over there and experience that personally.
Travel is so important. I bring that up so many times. I have so many different travel-themed shows that we've done because I think travel opens our minds to possibility, creativity,
100%.
Everything.
Absolutely.
It's so important to see the world.
Yeah, different cultures and how they live and think and function.
And to be a little shaky,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
We're
question.
hyper aware when we're somewhere we don't know.
Yeah, if you can't speak French,
Right.
you're watching lips and watching body language and trying to figure it out. But it's
We just found that out 3 weeks ago because we were in Paris. Believe it or not, we're checking every bucket list over here item on our own, so we get it. Do you think we are inherently obsessed with aging, or do you think outside forces, media influences, capitalism forces us to be?
Well, I can speak for myself. I was obsessed with aging until I was about 49 and decided I needed to finally admit that I wasn't 29 anymore. So personally, yes, the majority of us have some sort of vanity. So that is an obsession with aging and keeping up with the Joneses and, what's available out there now with all of the Botox and the fillers and all of the ways to stay beautiful. And even though that's not the norm, it is highly um, desired.
And I think just to add a couple of thoughts to that, there is a good amount of the population now worldwide, in the big tech industry and things like that, that probably are obsessed with aging. I think probably because they don't want to die, and I get that. I think in our own lives, we both know that we're going to, die. Our physical bodies are going to die. We're aware of that. But I think most people agree that you don't want the death process to be painful and you don't want it to be long.
For sure.
And I think that's where people need to begin to take inventories, because what we see is a drastic, continual, predictable increase of sick span, a time where people are on multiple medications, lose mobility, lose common abilities to communicate, to talk, to walk, to leave, to travel. And that's not life.
Well, and nobody wants to be riddled with adult toys. And that's walkers, wheelchairs, crutches, canes, and medication pills.
Yeah, and some of it's out of our scope of preventing, right? I mean, some of it is genetic, some of it is the air we breathe and the food we choose. But again, it's the food we choose to eat. We said it. It's whether. Look, I find it interesting what you just brought up about your own looking at how you saw your aging process. Because my question is, I was to you, Michele, because I was this way. I was harder on myself at 25 than I am at 55.
Oh, for sure. And even the ability, I mean, I was a professional athlete in my younger years, or had hopes on being something. And the drive that I went after all of that with is insane compared to what today looks like.
It's expectation, don't you think?
It's and it's a want, it's a desire to be the best, be at the top, do the best, and not necessarily the best person in the world, but the best that you can be, and always beat your last, rep or weight or, kick, whatever that was, you wanted to make the next one better, or I did.
I think that's very human and very normal, and I think that it's a perspective shift that hopefully happens as we get older. I see two things with friends happening is, I'll use myself as an example. We just decided to give Europe a shot, and we packed up our stuff and sold our house and left our life behind and moved to London. I have two groups of friends. I have a group of friends who were quietly saying behind my back to each other, but I found out because they all talk. You know how it goes. But there was a group out there who said how are you doing that? I could never do that. And then I have another group of friends saying, you're living my dream.
Right.
Now, this dream that I'm living is very stressful. Don't get me wrong. It's a whole different way of life wherever you go, but you're never going to know unless you take that shot.
That's right.
And I think that is the shift that hopefully people listening and we talk about so much on here is you don't need to be the best. My hundreds of failures made those 3 successes so much sweeter.
Well, I think most people understand that. Probably the listeners will get this, is that if you've never fallen down, how do you know how to get back up again? And if you've never had a setback, how do you know how to come back? And if you've never had something you've failed at, how do you know really what success is about? And for us, we've taken a lot of risk and chances and gambles and things in our day, past, present, and probably in the future. But we've always kind of believed that sometimes your biggest breakthroughs is the big old enemy called fear. And sometimes you just got to walk right through that and give it a shot. And I admire you, Steve, for doing that. That's kind of cool.
Now, for those people who can't be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, You mentioned it already. There are a couple books here we got to talk about. One is called Fork Your Diet.
Nice name, huh?
It's fan-fucking-tastic. That is so, and I love a pun. God, I love a pun.
Yeah, you got to watch how fast you say that, right?
Now, this is about, according to the title of the book, mastering 4 fundamentals of good health. Can you spoil a little bit and give me 1 or 2 of the fundamentals?
I'll give you 2 little tidbits here. That book talks about some things you can do to improve physical health and emotional health. That's 1. Number 2, that book also talks about, and you see it on the cover, frauds. I won't tell people what those are and that's an acronym. And the first word is fear. So there you go.
I love it. Michele, you want to add anything? You want to give the other 2?
Well,
there you go.
It's just that book is kind of how to bust out of some of the things that hold you back in life so that you can live life to the fullest. And those things, we sometimes they get set in motion when we're little children and we're living from that fear or the other components of that acronym, and we have no idea that that's what's gotten under our skin and keeps us stuck.
Now, you wrote this one together. What was that process?
Oh, we just hated every minute of it. No, it was awesome.
We went on a few trips and took some quiet time.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah.
We just started digging in and what do you think about this? Just throwing some concepts out there on the computer and it just kind of evolved. A book is really, and we've written, I guess 7 or 8 now, but a book is really what's inside you, what's written in your heart, just kind of transposed on paper for everybody else to see, I suppose.
Did either of you get stuck along the way? Does that reflect back to how you handle life when you get stuck?
That's funny you say that. I think, yes, undoubtedly. I think my biggest issue with books, writing is, did I put my all into it? Am I missing anything? Do I want to go back and redo that part? Is that sufficient? Do I stop there? And it's all this, is that the right amount or do I need to go more? So I struggle with that sometimes, because when does a book end, really? I mean, it's a story, but when does it end?
And if you're comfortable sharing that side of you, because part of what you two do is focused on the patient that walks in the door, right? And the focus is on them and their personal experience and their their health experience. But when you write a book, I find for me is like the more voice of my own that I'm willing to show, the more connective, just like this podcast that people listen to right now, the more people connect to it. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, 100%.
Is it hard to make that switch?
Well, I think it is somewhat because when you're dealing with someone else, it's really all about them. At least if we do our job right, it's all about them and them working through their stuff. Most people have the answers within them. We just kind of reframe it, shape them, guide them through various protocols and modalities to get them to their best. But when you're writing a book, well, that's coming from you. And you really is not all about them, but you're thinking about how it affects them and how's it going to affect the world. And then that same thing is true within, I would say, the movies as well. You're trying to express a certain thing, a meaning to bring about necessary change or opportunities for introspective change in the world. So that's the struggle you have with that. It's you kind of like turn your heart inside out on those things.
Well, and the perspective is very different with a patient in front of you versus sitting writing a book. And of course, when you're writing, oftentimes, or for me at least, the CD player finally says, okay, I got to stop. I got to refresh the memory bank here and make sure that I'm still coming from the initial place that I started, or does something need to change? It gets to a place where you just need to go for a walk, get a breath of fresh air. Yes, open up a window. Yeah, and then come back to it. And things are totally different when you come back.
I want to ask you both a question. I'm going to start with Michele. This is great because Mark, you get to think about it. If you can go back, Michele, if you could go back to 18-year-old you, 20-year-old you, what would you tell her?
Oh my gosh, that was a very traumatic time for me. I would say, don't walk in the door of the place you walked into and got that process started. Take another path. At that age, I had dreams of becoming an Olympic champion in martial arts. And I would probably say maybe take up biking or boxing or something else.
Mark, what would you say to 18-year-old you?
That's a tough one because I think both of us have similar experiences at that time in our life. I think I would tell myself that I'm more talented, have more grit, and have more determination than I probably think I do, and to always keep kind of a healthy chip on your shoulder, but not an unhealthy chip on your shoulder. Like I spent my better part of my life, youth, trying to prove everybody wrong. Well, okay, that's fine. But I think I would tell myself at that time to try to prove myself right instead of everybody else wrong,
Here's what I would tell both of your 18-year-old selves. I'm kidding. Okay.
No, shoot.
What the hell do I know? Michele, tell everybody where they can find you in Tulsa, Oklahoma, if they are in the area and want to come visit.
You bet. 6048 South Sheridan Road at Functional Medical Institute. We've got an open door policy. They can come in, tour the clinic, and find us right there.
And Mark, where do everybody find your books?
They can go to our website at Sherwood.TV, where all of our books are there as well. And I'll add one thing to Dr. Michelle's answer. If there's people around the country and world, we are multi-state licensed, and we have clients all around the world, so they can reach out to us on that website as well.
We close the show with 2 questions. We'll start with you, Mark. We'll go to you, Michele. You get to hear it and think about it first. This is question number 1. Who inspires you?
Wow. I think when I look at the life of Jesus, a guy who was countercultural, who believed something so much that he took it all the way to the cross in public humiliation because he loved people so much, that to me is something to be admired.
Michele, who inspires you?
Well, I would definitely second that. My favorite book is Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth, also known as the Bible. So if I get discouraged or upside down, I can usually find anywhere I open that book to encouragement. But secondly, it would be my husband. He makes me a better person every day.
Aww.
I go to him if I've got, cares that I can't seem to solve in my own mind or brain. That would be the human person that really inspires me, because he's never missed a day of exercise as long as we've been married, and he always does what he says he's going to do. He always shows up, and he's always encouraging other people, even on days when he needs to be encouraged. He's one-upping the other person, not intentionally doing that, but he doesn't say, "Oh, I need encouragement today. Could you encourage me?" He's there for the needs of others always.
Mark, do you want to add anybody to your inspiration? I'll give you the chance right now.
Well, there's without question, in human form, honestly, my wife, the stuff she's overcame, who goes from homeless to the top of their medical class? Who comes up with that? That's a story. And anybody that can do that, that's got that type of determination to get back up again, has a special quality that is truly a gift to the world.
And the final question is not a question. It's a statement to finish. We're going to start with you, Michele. It's really simple. Tell me something good.
For whoever is listening out there, they are entering a world gone good.
I love it.
Love it. This is the best promo I've ever had. Mark, tell us something good to close the show.
Everybody's had setbacks. Everybody's had issues. Get back up again, because when you have a setback, don't take a step back, because that's a comeback opportunity.
Thank you both, Mark and Michele, for sharing your good with us. Next time on World Gone Good.
it's ultra important to understand that not only can a person change, their communication style can change. Their emotional needs can change over time. That's why compatibility isn't a one-time measurement in the app. It is a measurement every single month. It could change from month to month. It can be different. I could be different 6 months from now than I was 6 months ago.
Kelvin Cook is bringing the good of AI, artificial intelligence. You've heard of it. It's that scary science fiction-y thing where the robots take over humanity and we all must bow down to them to receive a pellet of food daily. But hold on. Is AI really all that bad? Kelvin doesn't think so. In fact, he believes we can use it to create better relationships with the ones we love, our friends and family, and yes, even our workmates. Come join us as we step into the future on our next all-new episode. Until then, be good.